I don't know if you've seen the title of this talk, The Value of Being Unitarian Universalist. So good morning once again. I bring you greetings from around the state. We're up in the Kokomo area. We actually live in Delphi, but I'm a part-time minister at Kokomo. And it's a small group, but very active and intentional, and values our UU connection. It's good to be back with you here at the Heartland congregation and to meet some of you new today. I'm glad to have another chance to speak with and interact with all of you. You may remember last month that I was suggesting that everyone should try talking to strangers more. I'm afraid you're probably wondering what crazy thing I'm going to encourage you to try this time. And you'd be safe in guessing that I do have ideas I want to share with you about what we can do to improve the state of our own personal lives, as well as our larger community and world. So let's get on with it. What is the value of being Unitarian Universalists and trying to live guided by our 7 principles? Our association has printed a bookmark with 10 great reasons. I was showing someone this, and I don't see that you have this, but it's something you might like to get. It's 10 great reasons to join a Unitarian Universalist community. And so there's just 10 things on there. And Kim is going to email that to, I think, everyone so that you will have that at home to think about and perhaps share with others. I'm not going to list those here this morning, but you can take a look at those. I like what is in that list. It covers many of the things people appreciate about their experiences in a UU congregation. Some of our basic needs of safety and belonging are can certainly be met here. With good planning and leadership, our higher order needs can also be satisfied as we meet and live among one another. Physiologist Abraham Maslow, back in 1943, developed a hierarchy of needs. The hierarchy of needs pyramid was added later on. That wasn't his original design, that he presented in a paper titled A Theory of Human Motivation. In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization is the highest level of physiological development, where personal potential is fully realized, but only after basic bodily and ego needs have been fulfilled. Maslow defined self-actualization to be self-fulfillment, namely the tendency for the individual to become actualized in what he or she is potentially. This tendency might be phrased as the process to become everything that one is capable of becoming. We Unitarian Universalists are fortunate not to be encumbered by our religion with the notion of original sin that must be atoned for. We're encouraged to see life as a precious gift that can be lived with joy and curiosity, with the potential for this self-actualization of Maslow's physiological pyramid. Psychological. His theory emphasizes the fact that self-actualization cannot normally be reached until other lower order life necessities are satisfied. While some writers in the field define self-actualization as a driving force, Maslow uses the term to describe growth, that this growth that takes place once our other needs are have essentially been met. Maslow's work is considered to be part of humanistic psychology, which is one of several frameworks used in psychology for studying, understanding, and evaluating personality. The humanistic approach was developed because other approaches, such as the psychodynamic approach made famous by Sigmund Freud, focused on unhealthy individuals that exhibited disturbed behavior, whereas the humanistic approach focuses on healthy, motivated people and tries to determine how they define the self while maximizing their potential. Humanistic psychology in general and self-actualization in particular helped change our view of human nature from a negative point of view to one that humans are conditioned or tension-reducing organism, to a more positive view in which humans are motivated to realize their full potential. Let me just say that again. Humanistic psychology in general and self-actualization in particular helped change our view of human nature from a negative point of view, that is, humans are conditioned or tension-reducing organism, to a more positive view in which humans are seen as motivated to realize their full potential. This then is the basis of Maslow's hierarchy of needs and his theory of self-actualization. Instead of focusing on what's wrong with people, Maslow wanted to focus on human potential and how we fulfill that potential. Maslow stated that human motivation is based on people seeking fulfillment and change through personal growth. Self-actualized people are those who are fulfilled and doing all they are capable of. It refers to the person's desire for self-fulfillment. The specific form that these needs will take will, of course, vary greatly from person to person. In one individual, it may take the form of the desire to be an ideal mother. In another, it may be expressed athletically. And in still another, it may be expressed in teaching or painting pictures or in inventions. So what are those needs? And we had the pyramid up there. According to Maslow, people have lower order needs that in general must be fulfilled before higher order needs can be satisfied. 5 sets of needs: physiological, safety, belongingness, esteem, and finally self-actualization. The physiological needs include food, clothing, warmth, and rest. Safety includes the sense of security, safety and security. Belongingness includes intimate relationships and friends, concern for others. Esteem includes prestige, feelings of accomplishment, and self-actualization is achieving one's full potential. So he says we all have these needs and are fortunate to have them pretty well satisfied in a group like this. But many people in our communities, in all communities around the world, are far from getting even their basic physiological or bodily needs and safety needs met. Maslow theorized that people in this situation are incapable of advancing to the other levels of concern and their potential for self-actualization. That leaves us with a whole host of humans who are unable to consider the needs and welfare of anyone but their own immediate family, if even that. It makes it difficult for those folks to be part of a group to work toward improvement in our government, our healthcare system, our education system, our relationships with all the different types of people here and in other countries. We UUs believe that everyone is innately capable of moving through these stages of development and functioning at the most productive and helpful level, but only if everyone is provided with their basic needs. So how does this relate to our involvement in a UU congregation? I believe it means that in order to live in a world of complete, highest functioning human beings, we need to be in an environment where each of our personal growth is encouraged and fostered. And we have to help make it possible for others to reach their full potential. In order to have the hope of living in peace and harmony, we must be concerned about the welfare of all our brothers and sisters in this amazing life we have. Rather than the private yearning or working for personal salvation that some religions inspire, our faith suggests that we can only reach our highest potential when we value every individual and work for the whole species' highest growth potential, or what we might call universal salvation. UUs believe that we precious human beings cannot be saved by anyone or anything but each other. It's up to us to bring about harmony in our organizations, our workplaces, our communities, our whole world. There is no savior of humanity who can manipulate a paradise for us in this life or in some imagined future experience. This may sound like a staggering responsibility, and it really is. No one can do it alone. Fortunately, there are groups like our UU congregations where we can get support and encouragement for this enormous task. Over the years, our Unitarian and our Universalist forebears have recognized this interdependency of humanity and come up with our 7 principles to assist us in this task, with guidelines and processes necessary for accomplishing this goal of universal salvation. You've all seen those 7 principles and have probably had many opportunities to study and understand their content and meaning. It's a short list that, if adhered to, could theoretically solve all the ills of our society. And I see a little star. Oh. It's all about bringing up the level of all people. If only a small percentage of people are safe and secure enough to advance to community participation and concern and fulfillment, we all suffer the consequence. I believe we do a good job of working toward the fulfillment of these principles. We are making this world a better place, and I believe we can be proud of our efforts. There seems to be some tension, however, within our association that has filtered down from the leadership in Boston, that our congregations are not doing enough, especially when it comes to welcoming and promoting people who identify as marginalized, specifically people of color, those with handicaps, gay, transgender, and bisexual. These are challenging times for all religious organizations in the face of these changes. Many of our assumed expectations are changing and causing us to rethink, re-understand some of our attitudes. This really is a good thing. It's what we encourage with our 4th principle that promotes a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. and our first principle, which affirms the inherent worth and dignity of every person. There's a growing number of UU members and ministers who have perceived a more condemning and punishing attitude coming from national leadership. With the elimination of districts and the segregating of participants at major events, it appears that we are being encouraged to interact less with each other. There is some push to create more of a top-down hierarchy with less congregational control. There is a push to add another wordy principle to our 7 principles, or to rethink the principles altogether. I believe this is misguided. I ran for a position on the National Board of Trustees in June to confront and remedy this tendency. But it is difficult to stand up and sound the alarm. There was a lot of pressure to elect the board-selected candidates to the 4 positions open this year. I'm involved with a group that supports a different approach. We believe that we understand each other better when we interact and know each other better. This group had a conference this spring hosted by the Kokomo Fellowship, where we invited all the Indiana congregations to send representatives to discuss the changes seen at the leadership level of the UUA. We had participation from a number of churches from around the state and had some good interactions. We plan to try this again next spring and hope to have representation from even more congregations. We are concerned about the large size and impersonality of the 7-state region group, which we are a part of now, instead of that smaller Heartland district that previously existed. Because of congregational level control and polity, each individual church or fellowship is able to think through and act on these issues as they see fit. Even if changes are made, your group can function in the way you feel most benefits your members. You are an example of this self-determination in the discussion to form a new congregation. You are an example of the self-determination in the decision you made several years ago to form this new congregation. I encourage you to stay aware of what the National UU Association is saying and promoting. Are they creating an environment that fosters the most opportunity for advanced psychological development for everyone? You have created a healthy space here for anyone to participate. I applaud your efforts and am glad to be associated with like-minded folks. May you continue to grow and flourish as you see fit. Thank you.